What is the sonic equivalent of great lighting? Oh wow, that incense is cooking. Okay. We gotta get this out of here. Lately, I have been thinking a lot about grounding practices and sensory comfort in my own life, especially how sound shows up in my daily rituals, in my home, and very small, ordinary life moments. We have 5 senses, obviously, and there are a million ways that we cater to them in order to enhance our physical experience of the world, and music is one of them. I'm a musician, I know this. You put on a record, you go to a show, you throw on a mood playlist or something from YouTube or Spotify, but I started to wonder, what is the auditory equivalent of a beautifully designed lamp or stained glass interacting with the afternoon light, a worn-in sheet, or incense curling through a room, something that is not meant to be entertainment or to grab your attention in any way, but to operate in the background, integrating with the space and subtly cueing your mind and body to relax and come back to the physical world. So the perfect opportunity came up to explore this and bring it to life this summer when my childhood best friend was getting married, and I wanted to give him something handmade and meaningful, a piece of art that connected to our shared history of making music together, and that also fit the organic beauty and intention he's always brought into his homes for as long as I've known him. So I imagined an object. And I imagined it living on a bedside table or a shelf, but I also wanted it to be portable. It could travel with you to a beach or on a hike or to a hotel room if you travel a lot, like me, to make it sort of feel like your own space. And that meant it had to be very small, battery powered, and I also wanted it to be free of any lights or screens. So in the end, I kept it very simple: 2 knobs and a switch, volume, track selection, and an on-off switch that also has the option to toggle between a bank of environmental sounds and musical sounds. A USB port on the back is there, which makes it easy to recharge after it's run down its 12-hour battery life. The environmental bank, I filled it with field recordings of the river and wildlife near where we both grew up in northern British Columbia. The outdoors were a massive part of both of our lives as kids, and I wanted sounds that felt like home. There's also a meditation bell and just straight up white noise. And then for the musical bank, I worked with my partner Josh, who's an incredible ambient musician. He has a project called Willowcrest Healing and Light Center, and we each made a few very minimal tracks. I used my modular synths and he used some sort of granular digital sampling synths to create 1-minute infinite looping tracks. And the idea was to compose them very intentionally, to not demand any attention, but also to provide really subtle stimulation in their layers and gently paint the walls of whatever space you're in, was the idea. The build process of this project was particularly tough for me. I had to learn how to solder, which I have been meaning to do anyways. As someone who's very into vintage music gear, it's just a great skill to have. But I did rediscover the tremor that I have in my right hand. I've been working around it my whole life, and it hasn't come up that much recently, but this was perfectly designed to be difficult for me. But I did figure it out, and once the hardware was all set up, I also had to get the computer chip and the soundboard talking to each other with code, and I've never coded before, so I had to do a lot of research and eventually ended up leaning on ChatGPT a lot for the syntax of it, but I still had to figure out all the logic, how the switches worked, and it was just a bit of a mind bender, but also I think really good experience, how to make the volume curve natural instead of stupid, and there were definitely a couple very late nights staring at error messages before it finally worked. But it finally worked. At first I wanted to put everything inside an existing box. a vintage radio maybe, or like a jewelry box from a thrift store, but I just could not find anything that felt right and felt like him. So I ended up building the box myself. I used a little 3-inch 4-ohm speaker. I drafted some really simple plans, and I got some wood from Home Depot, and I cut it up and drilled some holes and screwed and glued it all together. I kept it very simple. I just finished it with a natural wood and varnished it and kept the speaker exposed. Getting the sound right was also a bit of a trip. I had to experiment with what frequencies the speaker could actually handle and what sounded good through it. But it was fun because unlike mixing music for release where you have to have it translate across many, many different systems and phones and huge PA systems and cars, whatever, I only had to focus on this one very specific speaker and just have it sound as good as possible in this one setting. I didn't have to make any compromises, which was cool. It only exists here. You can't stream it. You can't put it on your phone. You have to be in the room with the object or listening to this video to hear any of it. And that to me is part of the whole artistic intent, that this is a physical object that holds sound, not just a music project, but sort of separating the art from the digital world when you just want to be existing in a physical world. So I thought I'd close the video by reading you the note that accompanied the gift, and that'll be it. Dear Kiri and Chloe, on this most amazing occasion, I present you with an ambient noise box. This piece grew out of my own search for grounding practices and small rituals that bring me back to the present. I wanted to make something that carried that same spirit, but through sound. It isn't meant to take center stage, but to cast a gentle glow over everyday moments. Making coffee together, taking a break, folding laundry, or sitting quietly at the end of the day. My hope is that it can be a companion to your shared rituals, a reminder to slow down, be present, and return to the simple physical experience of being together. I love love. Yay. Okay, and for now, that's enough from me. It's just box sounds from here on out.